Dan here from Red Devils TV, and this is it. This is Manchester United versus Sunderland match preview. Now, we're going to be talking about Ruben Amorim. Is he going to change his system, or is he going to continue with the system that keeps on making us lose? We're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes. How do we get the best out of our best player? I know that's a bit of a controversial thing because a lot of people don't think Bruno Fernandes is our best player. I actually think he is. So we'll be talking about him as well, and how do we get the best out of Bruno Fernandes again. We're going to talk about how Sunderland going to set up and their main dangers. We're going to talk about also United's score predictions and also predicted 11. So stay tuned for it. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and comment down below your predictions for tomorrow's game against Sunderland. Now, first of all, Ruben Amorim. He spoke to Owen Hargreaves earlier this week talking about the system change and the criticism he's received and the pressure that's building up on his job. And you know what? I've always been one of them fans that backs the manager no matter how much of a state the situation's in. I was saying with Ole, I was saying with Ten Hag. The video was there with Ten Hag when I started my channel. It wasn't until his last game as a Manchester United manager, which was the West Ham game, which was when I had enough and then I was fed up. And I think it might be the same with Ruben Amorim. I feel like that if you're asking me truthfully, do I think he gets sacked by Christmas? Yes. I don't think he makes it past the Brighton game. Do I want it to happen though? No, because I feel like he's building something. And realistically, a lot of fans are too impatient nowadays. Like, what happens to the old saying, you take one step back to gain 2 steps forward? Realistically, yes, you could say Ruben Amorim maybe took 1 or 2 steps further back, but hopefully that means we get 3 steps forward and we also can progress under Ruben Amorim. There are some good managers out there though, but a lot of the managers that United are being linked with either in current employment with clubs or in international level, ready for the World Cup, which is this summer anyway. So you're just going to be getting an interim anyway that United fans are going to get attached to, or might even make things worse. So this is why I feel like the club should stick with Ruben Amorim. But based on his current system, are there things that he can change? Are there things that he can adapt? Yes, there is. The obvious answer is going to a back 4. But we'll have to see. I mean, Ruben Amorim as a player played in a 4-2-3-1 formation. He was a midfielder himself as well. So I'm really confused to why Agate and Bruno struggle so much in this system. Casemiro can kind of understand because he's been used to playing a midfield 3 for so many years, as well as Casemiro's obviously his legs are going. But Bruno and you say Agate, even Mainu as well. When you've got a manager who's a midfielder himself, why is he not giving them a bit more advice and control and just motivation in the position that he once played in? But do I think he'll change his system? I can't say. I feel like that the formation won't change, but the system might, whether that's the wing-backs going in a yard or 2 forward, or more wide or more narrow. But it's just an example using the wing-backs. It could be Seshko is always playing on the opposition's box, so it's pushing that high line up. Because one thing I've really noticed when United are trying to play a high line, and this is one of our downfalls we experienced against Brentford, is that when you're playing a high line with Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, who aren't very quick, you're going to get counter-attacked very, very quickly, and that's where United do struggle. So my confusion is that why is there such a massive gap? It's about 15 to 20 yards from the midfield to the attack, and it makes no sense. If you're going to play a high line, push up the pitch, even if you're going across the halfway line. That's the danger you play with playing such a high line, playing with such a high press. You can get counter-attacked very quickly. And when United's quality and star players aren't involved at the moment, you know, you've got to look at it and be like, you are going to be vulnerable. And Ruben Amorim did really well in Europe last season. Obviously, we didn't win the Europa League. We lost to Spurs, which was a very poor Spurs side. But United just didn't turn up on that night. I generally think Spurs were there for the taking. They had moments where Rasmus Højlund almost scored that brilliant header, but Van de Ven cleared it off the line. It just wasn't our game, and it wasn't our night. And yeah, we lose the Europa League, and that's it. And now we've just got to focus on this season. But in the league, it's been absolutely terrible. And realistically, I've been shouting off camera because I've not been making too many videos that where's the self-pride from the players? Where's the self-pride from Ruben Amorim? Do they not want to win? Are they just dealing with it? Are they just putting half-assed performances? I really don't know. Something has to change though, because I'm consider myself as a patient fan, but not every single fan's like me. A lot of fans are demanding results. A lot of fans want to see 2 wins in a row in the league, which we haven't experienced under Ruben Amorim yet, which is shocking. And here's a stat for you, that if Sunderland beat us on Saturday, they will have the same away league wins as United in 2025, despite them starting their Premier League campaign in August. So from United, from January onwards for this year, Sunderland would have the same amount of away wins in the league as we would if they do beat us tomorrow, which is just mental. And this is where Amorim needs to change it up, whether it's, like I said, whether it's a formation change, whether it's a system change, something has to change. But do I think he will? That's up to the manager. But yeah, I'm just a fan who talks nonsense in front of a camera. Bruno Fernandes, though, is one that I want to talk about as well, because he's just won Manchester United Player of the Month. Don't know how. I personally believe that De Ligt or Mbeumo was more deserving of it, and they weren't even nominated. It was Seshko and Patrick Dorgu who were also nominated, and I think Seshko should have won it maybe for the confidence boost, because if you've just come into United, you win the Player of the Month for the club, you know, it might be a bit of a good moment for you to experience, and it might make you a bit more settled. It might make you feel a bit more welcomed by the fans, for example, because it is a fan vote at the end of the day. But Bruno won it. I don't know how, because I don't think he's been too good, but he has been scoring goals, he has been getting assists, and he hasn't looked his best self, because we all know how highly we all rate Bruno. But at the same time, Bruno is really, really underperforming at his best at the moment. And genuinely, I think it's all about his discipline, because that's always been something I've criticised Bruno over, is his discipline, is his attitude. But as a player on quality, I cannot doubt him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's probably one of the only top-class players we've got in the team. I really like De Ligt. I really like Lenny Yoro and Kobbie Mainoo as well, but I don't think they're on Bruno Fernandes' level personally. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, with Bruno, obviously, he has to play deep. You're not going to spend a £207 million on a brand new attacking Seshko, Cunha and Mbeumo and then play Bruno Fernandes as an attacker, are you? You need to get that front three with confidence. You need to get them chemistry. So Bruno Fernandes will have to play as a midfield too. It's just finding a way to cover Bruno if he wants to go forward more, which is what he intends to do. So let's say, for example, that Manchester United can start with a 4-2-3-1 formation in transition. You can literally look at it like that. Instead of having a back five formation, I feel like Lenny Yoro is versatile enough to play as a right-sided centre-back, maybe even a left-sided centre-back, for example. And it could definitely fluctuate between the likes of Dorgu and Mazraoui or Ahmad, for example. I think Mazraoui would be more suited to a double pivot role in that midfield alongside someone like a Garte or Mainoo. But for example, literally, you could have a back four formation of, let's say, you've got Yoro, De Ligt, Maguire, Shaw, Martinez when he's fit, whenever, and then Dorgu as the wing backs. That stretches the back four. Then you've got Mazraoui or Ahmad, for example, who would go into midfield. And then you've got him next to alongside Garte or Mainoo, for example. So you've got a defensive cover, which can also allow Bruno to rotate and go into almost like a free roll formation. But then if you're in transition, you've got your back four, your double pivot, which is kind of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to play. And then you've got Bruno as the playmaker, as the 10. You've got your striker, left wing in Cunha, and right wing in Mbeumo. All of a sudden, United are playing a back four formation in transition. And all of a sudden, you know, you've got players who can cover the space. You've got players that are versatile. You've got players who can make a difference. And obviously, that my opinion's not going to get taken into account. Ruben Amorim's not going to see this video. If he did, then I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. I think I'd try and attempt to do a backflip. But at the end of the day, this is just one fan opinion. And I'm pretty sure there's 100, even thousands of United fans out there who've got their own opinions on how they think they would fix Manchester United. But hopefully we've just got to have faith in the manager. And hopefully he can do something. Now, I was watching Stretford Paddock, one of my favourite channels to watch as a United fan, and they said something very interesting. And Jay Motte said something very interesting as well when he said that the love that Ruben Amorim gets for the ones who back him are based off the hypotheticals, but then the ones who don't back him and want to see him get sacked are basing it off the facts. And it really depends. Fans like myself are hoping it gets better, but the fans who don't want him to be here anymore are basing it off the realistic facts that he's not good enough, he's made us worse by results, by points in the table. And I can understand their argument. This is why I don't argue with United fans who want Ruben Amorim out. I just accept that they don't want him out, because realistically, there's no point having an argument when you know you're not going to change each other's minds. I'm set on Ruben Amorim. Some fans aren't, and I completely respect that. But anyway, let's talk about Sunderland. They're playing really well. They're fifth in the league at the moment. They have shocked me, shocked many fans as well, and having such a strong start to the season when quite a few teams are slipping up as well, like Nottingham Forest last week with them as well. They're doing really well. Granit Xhaka, bringing that experience from what he had at Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen, he's been a really, really good player for them. Operating like a bit differently than he used to from what I saw of him when he was at Arsenal. He's almost operating like a deep playmaker. He's not that classic ball winner that he was at Arsenal, and he's doing really well. And I mean, Sunderland fans absolutely love him. They've got a great talent as well in Chris Rigg. I've personally always been a fan of Enzo Leafy when he was at his time at Roma. I wanted United to sign him a few years back. I think I've even made a video on it, saying that United should have signed him at one point. I can't remember. I've done that many videos, but I feel like that they've got a lot of underappreciated players, and their goalkeeper as well has done really well. Got my FPL points. Got me a few FPL points, should I say? So yeah, if you ask me my score predictions now, I'd be saying 1-1. I don't have any faith for tomorrow, but normally 9 times out of 10 when I back United to lose or draw, we win. So hopefully that jinx sort of comes through. But every time I back us to win, we seem to lose. So I might just keep predicting us to lose, to be honest, and hopefully we can go on a bit of a run and that guy can get his hair cut at some point. But yeah, United, how do we set up for this game? Lemens has to start. I don't care about Biende. I feel like that is a nice guy, but realistically, when push comes to shove, Ruben Amorim's got to think of his future, and Biende just isn't a good enough goalkeeper. Yeah, he made some good saves to keep us in the game against Brentford for the short period of time it was, but the goals that he conceded were on him. Like, the first goal, yeah, an absolute rocket, but he could have closed it down when you're playing such a high line. There was genuinely about 40 yards between the striker who ran past Harry Maguire and Biende, who was still on his 6-yard box. If you play as a sweeper keeper, you've got to push up. You've got to be there to that second ball, because I think, what's he called? Iago or whatever he's called? The Brentford striker anyway. He was through on goal and had time to know where he was going to shoot it, look up, and he had time because he knew Harry Maguire's not catching him. And Biende just didn't know what to do. It's a brilliant finish, but I just feel like Biende could have done more. Second goal, he just palms it like what we used to criticise Onana for. He palms it straight to the striker who gets a tap in. And the third goal, I don't know why he dived. Really, it was right at him. If he literally just stood up tall, stood his ground, he would have been able to catch that or maybe tip it over the bar. I don't know why he tried making that dive. I don't know if he tried to look good for his Instagram picture, but it just messed up massively. So yeah, point is, Lemens has to start. There's no point investing in a new goalkeeper and not play him, because he's much better than Biende, in my opinion. I haven't even seen him, but I just know he's going to be. And yeah, I just feel like that when you've got a goalkeeper who was number 1 in the world for most saves in the world last season, that's got to count for something, as well as claiming crosses, which is Biende's biggest weaknesses. And you see the amount of times United, when they get beaten in the air, our goalkeeper is either punching our defenders or missing the ball completely. You need to have a goalkeeper with experience, and I feel like that when Lemens came in. City away, yeah, you can't throw him in the deep end there. Brentford away, again, it's a bit of a medium deep water, and can he swim yet? You have to find out. But then you put him in the shallow end against Sunderland. That's no disrespect for Sunderland, but with the quality of players they have, United on paper should be beating them based on player quality, but on form quality, they might beat us, and that's how it goes. But yeah, pretty much with Lemens, I want to see him start. Back three. It's hard, this one. If it was up to me, I'd choose Yoro, De Ligt, and Heaven, but I don't think that'll happen. I think it'll be Yoro, De Ligt, maybe Maguire, De Ligt, and Yoro. I think, and Yoro plays the left centre back. I think Shaw just can't play personally, but we'll have to see. I think it'll be Ahmad and Dorgu as the wing backs. I want to see Igate and Bruno, and I want to see the same front three we did against Brentford. I mean, Casemiro might come in for Igate after his suspension against Chelsea, but personally I don't think Igate played too badly against Brentford, so yeah, I'd like to see Ugarte play again against Sunderland, and then yeah, obviously Seshko, Cunha, and Mbumo as the front three is what I want to see. But yeah, if you found this video, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions on the upcoming game against Sunderland. Thanks for watching.